I'm no preacher, I'm no scholar, I'm no scientist, I'm nobody of any major status by the world's standards. I'm simply just a man, prayerfully an instrument to share the truth. For someone who is supposed to have the good news, otherwise known as the gospel, lately I found myself even more frustrated than ever before within this world. It wasn't always to this degree, but there's always been a dull sense of uneasiness. So what's my problem? My problem with the world is truth. It's true that none of us can prove anything indefinitely because we didn't create it. Study to show thyself approved unto Yahuwah, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. 2 Timothy 2:15. We only can say something is true if we have a witness. Usually that means doing something multiple times or coming to the same result. This can be from multiple perspectives and forms but still remains the same result. Example, watching something fall from the perspective of the top of a building versus the bottom, or looking at the speed of a car from different angles. If you're on the side of a road and it's going 70 miles per hour, versus if you're driving behind it and you're going 60 miles per hour. To one, the car looks like it's going 70 miles per hour, and to the other, it looks like it's going 10 miles per hour. But the truth is it's still going 70 miles per hour. It looks different from different angles, but remains the same result. Miracles, anomalies, and supernatural events exist which destroy our fundamental knowledge of what we think we know. This aspect alone should be humbling and show us we truly know nothing because at any point we could be proven wrong. The attitude of this must remain at heart for us to truly understand the world. This is why I believe the Bible constantly conveys the messages of fear Elohim is the beginning of all knowledge, as well as the humble / the children are smart, while if you're haughty and prideful, you are a fool. The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. Proverbs 9:10. The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Proverbs 1:7. Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 18:3. Whoso loveth instruction loveth knowledge, but he that hateth reproof is brutish. Proverbs 12:1. You can be a scientist and think you understand the world, but one anomaly or experience that goes against the normal, or what should have been, ruins what you think you know. And that is simply because we did not create this world, nor did it create itself. But once again, who am I that I am able to tell you what to think? I know nothing. As I said before, I'm just a man. The issue with this world is this understanding of the world. Regardless of people's opinions, this fact will always remain true, meaning no matter what you say, you cannot prove anything. You cannot even prove that 1 second ago happened. You can only look for a witness to prove either yourself or someone else of what happened. For example, me writing this, I have no proof besides it being on my phone, having words typed, a timestamp, all of which is considered a witness to point to the truth. Using these witnesses outside of being biased due to feeling and personal desire, we can undoubtedly understand the truth. However, that is only if there was no outside influences telling us what to think. The world, in all honesty, whoever is here needs to understand that they know nothing, and everything should be taken lightly, with a grain of salt, as they say, if we're being intellectually honest. No matter how smart you think you are, Yah, who is the creator of this all, can and will humble you with the most ironic experience just to show you. Example. But when he saw many of the Pharisees and Sadducees come to his baptism, he said unto them, O generation of vipers, who hath warned you to flee from the wrath to come? Bring forth therefore fruits meet for repentance. Think not to say within yourselves, We have Abraham to our father. For I say unto you that Yahuwah is able of these stones to raise up children unto Abraham. And now also the axe is laid unto the root of the trees. Therefore, every tree which bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Matthew 3:9-10. In the Bible, Yah uses John and says, "With these stones, being people, I will raise up my chosen," even though the chosen people were there bragging. Those were the Pharisees and the Sadducees who pridefully thought that they were special. However, they were humbled using John as an instrument to convey this message. In today's terms, you can be an astrophysicist but get taught a lesson by a 4-year-old. You cannot surprise somebody who doesn't know anything because to them, anything is possible. But to the prideful, pride comes before the fall, is what they say, and can be observed. I guarantee if we held this attitude, we would all be presented with the actual truth. I only long for the world to hold this attitude because a great falling away is on the horizon. For it is written, "And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth the distress of the nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh." Luke 26:25-28. I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? That was Luke 18:8. The first was a description of events that would happen and what to be expecting. Within it, it says men's hearts will fail them because they cannot believe the things which are taking place on the earth. The second is a parable, speaking about a woman who was done wrong and constantly going to a judge asking to be avenged. Yah is the judge, and he will do the same thing. But because of the time, Yahusha says, will he still find faith in the earth, or will he still find people trusting in Yah during this time? Society does not train you to be unbiased to observe the truth using your own brain, but instead pushes its own selfish ideas based on who is presenting their version of the truth. But there's no version of the truth, because if truth can have different outcomes, then is it really truth? Since anything is technically possible, but the likelihood of something might be 0.0000001%, we still have to adhere to the truth that we know nothing. The truth is indeed like an immovable mountain that constantly stares us in the face. And instead of embracing it and understanding that it is a mountain and we're a man, we draw a picture on it. Everybody draws their own picture instead of understanding the truth. In all shows, DNA, science, art, life, pictures, anything, truth lies within it. If we attempt to take our biased sunglasses off only. Life is not what you make it, because with our own eyes, we only see what we want to see, which is inherently lies due to our own selfish nature. You can stare at the truth for a long time and try to make it something else, but the truth will always prevail in the end. There's no hiding from the Creator, from the truth that knows all and that is inevitable within all things. I only wish we would come out of the mindsets of the world, which are only ideas forced upon us, and live in a way which is completely unbiased. And I guarantee we will all come to the same conclusion, because that is the truth. Some will understand truth and still choose to make a decision that is not beneficial. And that, while we still have this thing called choice, is totally up to them. I believe in God-given choice. But to force opinion or your version of truth is completely wrong. I believe we are all capable of being aware and making our own conscious, educated decisions, but that's only if we choose to think for ourselves. But the world forces you to think within the box, and it sets the parameters. We are told ancient fables are fables. What are they? We are told mythology is mythology. But is that true? We are told dragons are fake. But is that true? We are told movies are just movies. But are they? Time travel, space, time, medicine, schools, entertainment, everything. But is it really true? I have found the truth in shows and also have gained the discernment to see when an agenda is being pushed on me. Once you see the truth, it's impossible to unsee it. You can never really go back. No matter how hard you try, you can never go back. Sometimes this concept is hard because it was easier before when you didn't know. But I believe this is all training for what's to come. The movie The Matrix said it best.
Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life, that there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The Matrix.
Do you want to know what it is? The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind.
No matter where you go, what avenue you take, it entraps your mind, and you don't even know you're trapped, especially when it's forcing you to think in a certain way. This concept is only being strengthened with the evolution of technology, creating more and more robots every day because people find it difficult to think for themselves. This is because we allow others to do it for us. It's easier that way. We seek only pleasure because we are selfish. This is based on observation. The technology and lack of effort or work strips the truth that you learned during the journey, giving you more time to simply consume the world while losing yourself and your ability to think. For example, if you would like to lose weight, it's easier to take a pill or listen to someone else rather than exploring the weight loss journey on your own because it's very difficult. This is based on observation due to our own natural selfish nature that grows when we don't crucify our flesh, aka lack of discipline, and doing what matters versus doing what we feel like doing. Like I said earlier, this is usually due to personal desires. We will help others until it doesn't suit us, which means it wasn't really for them, but only for ourselves in some way. The culture in which we live in is simply to consume and nothing else. Entertainment, food, products, and we find it difficult to work, to create, or do something than simply consume. I recently have found myself in multiple situations getting upset when I find people who act helpless at the simplest tasks. I only wish to understand why it is that I am upset, but this is the reason. I know that people have the ability to understand the truth. The truth will set you free and outside of the parameters in which have been set by a man who doesn't have the ability to set on you, because a man did not create you. Sometimes that man or woman is you, but you have to make that choice to step outside of the box of the world that you have put yourself in. I only wish for people to think for themselves unbiasedly, and that will lead to us finding our true potential inside of the mind of our Creator, who the reliable source and witness we have being Yahusha, whom our Creator sent for us, which is packaged in everything, as I said before. Movies, shows, TV, nature, math, whatever you attempt to look at will reveal the truth. That is why I believe nobody will have an excuse when this life is over. But while asleep and focused on distractions, being mostly entertainment, fear, trauma, drugs, wanting to fit in, sex, and whatever else that the world constantly throws at you, which the Bible calls idolatry, you may never know will continue to be a bot, constantly limited, controlled, and deep down unfulfilled due to the lack of becoming the fullness of ourselves with the help of our Creator. This has nothing to do with success, but simply understanding the truth. This is how a homeless man or someone who has everything the world will consider success can be miserable, but happy when he loses it all. Sometimes, depending on the person, they have to go through that to see the truth. This is why I strive not to judge. We don't have the capacity to understand everything, so the obsession with trying becomes futile in understanding that everything can be understood within the little things. The revelation of these things will cause you to enjoy the simple things in life. Shalom. My time here may be short, but I pray that Yah uses me to wake up others to the truth. Through my painful experiences that have taught me many lessons that I choose to share to come back to the truth. This can all be summed up here in Ecclesiastes 12. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, while the sun, or the light, or the moon, or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. When the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of the music shall be brought low, also when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fear shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and desire shall fail, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets. Wherever the silver cord be loosed, or the golden bowl be broken, or the pitcher be broken at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the cistern, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto Yahuwah who gave it. Vanity of vanities, saith the preacher. All is vanity. And moreover, because the preacher was wise, he still taught the people knowledge. Yea, he gave good heed, and sought out, and set in order many proverbs. The preacher sought to find out acceptable words, and that which was written was upright, even words of truth. The words of the wise are as goods, and as nails fastened by the masters of assemblies, which are given from one shepherd, and further by these, my son, be admonished. Of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yahuwah, and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For Yahuwah shall bring every work into judgment, with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. I love y'all.
Trauma vet a message every time. Speaking through a lost language backwards. Cycle speaking signs, disconnected from the source. Sin starts to climb. Babel was the source. Jacob with the climb. Deception running deep. We living in them times. Present you with the truth. I can't save you from your lies. Yahusha is the way. He the only real prize. Distractions every day. Stop thinking that you fine.